By the way, guys, look at the size of this arm.
These guys are Hulks, but not in the way you might expect. On the internet, we often encounter athletes with impressive feats of strength, but there's a particular group of individuals who stand out, the so-called Hulks. These are powerlifters who claim to be significantly stronger than the average athlete. However, their strength feats and records often raise more questions than answers. Today, you'll find out how these Hulks achieve their larger-than-life status using Photoshop, trick photography, and downright absurd claims. Let's start with the Norwegian Hulk. That's how he refers to himself. It's a common trend for many fake Hulks to claim a particular national identity. Here's what he says about himself. "Say whatever you want, but I feel great at 374 pounds. When I look at the photo taken last night, I can't imagine how I will look 66 to 88 pounds lighter because I'll be 287 pounds. The problem with our Norwegian kid is that he makes very questionable photos using tricky angles and applying ridiculous filters, presumably designed to intimidate and impress viewers. However, to the experienced eye, the guy looks more amusing and harmless, and his attempts to resemble someone like Eddie Hall are laughable. Take, for instance, this very questionable deadlift. 485 pounds for 3 reps at a body weight of 374 pounds. The various tricks with regular people that he demonstrates are probably meant to amaze the public, but any average person could easily lift another person. A 374 pounds object should be doing something at least 3 times more energy intensive, but not in this case. And while the Norwegian Hulk struggles with obesity and doesn't understand the long-term consequences of this body composition, we move on. It might seem that the 30-year-old Iranian Hulk has already been discussed from every angle, but I have new things to share and show about him. To remind you, according to his own words, his height is 6 feet 2 inches and his weight is 386 pounds. He once attracted millions of fans worldwide. His videos and photos often displayed massive muscles and feats of strength. How he gained weight and built his body to such proportions remained a mystery until the moment he was publicly humiliated and exposed. Photoshop seems obvious here. However, 6 years ago, people genuinely believed it. We were also told 6 years ago that the Iranian Hulk was into boxing, powerlifting, and bodybuilding. Let's see if that's true, and how he fared in a real fight 5 years later. It would seem that after all these years of training, he should have improved, but as we can see, there's no trace of boxing here. Simply being interested in boxing doesn't lead to professional skills, but after 5 years, one would think at least basic abilities could have developed. However, it seems like he never even trained in boxing. Even at an amateur level, fundamental skills like keeping your hands by your head or taking punches can be developed in a couple of months. Judging by his jerky reactions to the hits, it looks like he never sparred. Where's the Iranian Hulk in the ring? I couldn't find him. Maybe they forgot to Photoshop him in. On the ring, we see regular people with regular physiques. Turns out, this guy is the Iranian Hulk. After his loss to Almatbakitov, Sajjad deleted dozens of photos from his profile, claiming they were edited. To remind you, in July 2016, he gained attention when he talked about his plans to join the Iranian forces fighting in Syria. But, as reported, his plans failed.
There was messages from people, I'll rape your daughter, I'll kill your children, I'm going to send you home dead. And bear in mind, my daughter's 4 and 9. When we had this face-off and the whole push happened, that was a build-up of 6 months of, well, probably 4 months of people sending me messages on that level, which I've still got all the screenshots of. Never did anything with it, it was just still there. A lot of anger to that. You've got kids. You know exactly how you'd feel if someone said that.
However, the fight between Martin and Sajjad never happened.
I was more concerned about the damage that was going to be done to him. After that, we were supposed to do a press conference, and I saw him after that at that press conference, and he was crying. Like, he was broke. He then put a post out on social media, which you may or may have not seen, because he took down about 12 hours later saying he wanted to kill himself. He went and had the interview on TV, he cried. He got absolutely hammered on social media. His parents came on, disowned him. And for me, I've phoned up the organiser. I can't fight this guy. I do not want to be responsible for this kid, one, being bullied, and two, taking his own life, because that is the only way it would have ended.
This psychological evaluation only confirms that Sajjad Qaribi has been struggling with an inferiority complex since adolescence. That's why he created a tough image for himself and fake dimensions, hoping to finally earn some respect.
He's crying on social media live. I've also got pictures of him in a strip club, pissed during fucking Ramadan in Dubai. At the same time, while you're saying, Martin's a pussy.
This man still suffers from his complexes. For instance, here he is performing shrugs, but the range of motion is practically zero. His legs do most of the work. The motto of guys like Sajjad Qaribi can be summed up like this: appear, not be. Each one of them has their own refined exercises, which wouldn't be accepted in any competition. However, to an average person who doesn't understand physics and other aspects, it all might seem impressive. Another cyber clown who's the butt of jokes all over the web is Khan Baba, the Pakistani Hulk. He calls himself an MMA fighter, weightlifter, and YouTuber. He is also 31 years old. He tells many tall tales about himself. For example, he claims he can't fit into regular cars, and his weight started increasing rapidly when he was 18. Now, according to him, he weighs 960 pounds. In one interview, he recalled, "One day my father gave me a car. When I sat in the back seat, the rear axle broke. I was too shy, but my father laughed and took it lightly." Khan Baba claims he consumes more than 10,000 calories daily. For breakfast alone, he reportedly eats 36 eggs, 4 chickens, 6.6 pounds of red meat, and 1.3 gallons of milk. He allegedly trains for weightlifting championships, and the locals consider him a hero. His goal is to weigh 1,100 pounds and stop a tractor with one hand. Over the last 7 to 8 years, he has rejected over 300 women because he fears crushing them. However, his records and tricks raise many questions. All of his stunts and records are performed with a plastic barbell, and the deadlifts and holds with a car are done with all kinds of tricks and laws of physics in mind. For example, he supposedly holds a skidding car, which, judging by the sound, is in neutral gear. In another video, he goes even further. The tyres of a front-wheel drive sedan can be seen spinning. But the question arises, what's the traction between the tyres and the tile? In hot countries, after years of use and skidding, the tyres become hard, almost plastic-like, especially due to the high temperatures of the asphalt and constant temperature fluctuations. In such conditions, the traction is minimal, and if the surface is greased, even a 5-year-old could hold the car with almost no resistance. For comparison, Larry Wheels, a person with real records and strength, sometimes performs similar stunts, and without irony. He could seriously damage his reputation because, due to such staged tricks, his real achievements might be questioned by an inexperienced fan base.
That's better. Come, Baba.
He mocks the Pakistani Hulk by wearing funny doll clothes with padding to look bigger. Eddie, instead of many words about the physics and secret tricks of Khan Baba, simply showed by example that stunts with motorcycles on grass are nonsense. The Pakistani Hulk has been ridiculed by everyone. Even in the Ukrainian show World Inside Out, he was shown as a total joke. You can notice in the background real combat soldiers with loaded weapons, creating tension to keep Khan Baba from asking too many questions. Despite Khan Baba being a real national hero, and making fun of him could earn you a bullet in the head, the show's host didn't hesitate to show the reality.
Она сама катится, когда ее разгоняешь. Не тормози, не тормози, не тормози, не тормози. Друзья, это проще простого.
Lastly, we have the Canadian Hulk, with obesity and questionable records, Andrew Richard. He claims to hold one of the strongest overhead press records in history. He states that his massive muscle mass increased his body weight from 209 pounds to 379 pounds. He also mentions performing a French press behind the neck with 804 pounds for 5 reps. However, in reality, it's just a regular overhead barbell press. He also claims to perform a strict overhead press with 509 pounds, though this clearly doesn't align with reality. His boxing skills, even against a stationary target, leave much to be desired. Today, the world is full of fake strongmen who train a single movement for years just to boast about it. But in well-recognized sports, such as weightlifting or powerlifting, they can't achieve significant results. He often shows photos and videos from before his transformation, where he looked like a perfectly normal, strong, and solid man. If someone was well built and developed, and then starts to distort their body without noticing it, this could be a sign of mental health issues such as dysmorphia. If you enjoyed this compilation, type the phrase "No Photoshop"